What about the drug user themselves? They are essentially the people who are financing the entire market. That's where the demand comes from. That's where the money comes from, basically.
Yeah, of course, yes.
How do you think? How's your perspective changed? Obviously, it's the drug user isn't one type of archetype. There's many types of different people who do drugs and different types of drugs for different reasons. But what misconceptions did you have, or do people have, and how have they changed during your career?
Yeah, well, my view has changed drastically from the prejudiced young man I was to the person I am now. And I'm very glad that you made the point that people use all sorts of different drugs in different ways. And actually, 90% of drug use is non-problematic at all. And the 10% that is problematic, it's a sliding scale. Some people need more help than others. So this view that all drug use is problematic is a nonsense, and it's very problematic propaganda. But the view I had was that, particularly of heroin and crack, if someone had a problem with it, then they were stupid enough to have tried it. It's their fault.
It's a moral failing.
Yeah, and they didn't have the willpower to get out of it. That's their fault. I was just so judgmental. But then I got to know people who were using heroin or crack problematically, and I spent a long time getting to know these people, so I learned how to fit in. I learned to weaponize empathy, to find out about them, but use it to manipulate them. But I was learning, and I realized that every single person who was using drugs problematically was self-medicating for emotional pain, for emotional trauma. And almost all of it was through childhood, either neglect or sexual abuse or physical abuse. Like someone said to me, yeah, my dad used to hit me, but only when I deserved it. He was using heroin problematically. A young woman called Uma said to me, yeah, I can stop using heroin. And I do every few weeks to bring the tolerance down, to make it cheaper for me. But the trouble is, once I've stopped heroin for a couple of weeks, I become suicidal because I remember the feeling of my uncle's fingernails when he used to sexually abuse me as a little girl. So for her, and many people like her, it's a pragmatic decision to stay on heroin because it's a very, very effective painkiller of emotional pain.
Right. It's a dysfunctional yet effective behavioral pattern.
Yeah, absolutely. Most drug use is rational, even when it appears not.
Yeah. At least it's not random. And this is what people, I think, mistake. Irrational behavior is not random behavior.
Exactly. And we have this ridiculous dialogue. I used to believe it. I mean, I remember Nancy Reagan, the wife of the former president, on TV saying, one smoke of crack cocaine and you're addicted for life. No, you're not. I mean, I believed it as a young man, but it's utter nonsense. There's a reason if someone is addicted to something, a reason. And if you see someone struggling with heroin or crack or methamphetamine, you should be saying, what happened to you? What happened to you? And how can we help you? Not judge them for their behaviour and criminalise them. Now, obviously, I realise this now, but I've been on a long journey, and I've had to critique my own thinking. But I would just ask that everyone else there critique your own thinking as well. The evidence is very clear. The evidence supports my view here. Academic evidence supports what I'm saying. It's not just my observation